About 2 months ago, I got email from Rabbi Avremi telling me that there is a rare opportunity to bring a world-renowned graphologist, Yaakov Rosenthal, to Milwaukee. So I got very excited about it, and for me English it's not even a second language. So I mixed graphologist with graffiti. So I thought we can bring this famous graffiti guy from New York who can beautify our city, so it should look like New York subway. But then I was explained that actually it's something different. So Mr. Rosenthal traveled all over the world lecturing about graphology for more than 13 years and has been studied it for more than 20 years. And today we'll have an opportunity to listen to his lecture. And if somebody would like to see him privately, you can speak to Mr. Rosenthal and it will be available.
Thank you. I didn't do anything yet. Thanks.
Anticipation.
Show it up. I can feel the pressure now. How many people here know what graphology is? How many people just wanted to come out and just get out of the house tonight? How many people were forced here? And how many people came here to see me? And my wife's in the audience also. I don't know these people. All right, so let's start from the beginning. Oh, and who came here for the Kabbalah part? Anybody else for the Kabbalah part? Okay, a few people. So now, between you and me, if I say anything about Kabbalah, I'm just going to raise my pinky, okay? Just so not to burden anybody else. Because if I say Kabbalah to them, they'll just shut down, okay? So they won't know. I'll just raise my pinky. They don't know what I'm doing, and then we'll take care of it that way, okay? All right. Can anybody tell me what graphology is?
Isn't it the science of handwriting study?
Perfect. Does anybody know what that means? What does a graphologist do?
Analyze handwriting. It's a smart group.
I was told they're pretty smart here in Milwaukee. So, I analyze handwriting. And what do I get from the analyzation?
Information.
Oh, now.
Personality. Also the pen. What you tell the person, if you tell them good things, you get a hug. If you tell them bad stuff,
Okay. So, from my friend over here, she said personality. So, I can tell, wait, first off, does everybody have a personality? Anybody not have a personality here? I didn't say if you were a personality, I said if you don't have such a thing. So, what is personality? Let's ask that question. What is a personality?
No idea.
No idea, excellent. How about, anybody else over here know what a personality is?
I guess it's your expression of yourself.
Hey, right, okay. So, if I can analyze handwriting, and I can tell your personality or your expression of yourself from your handwriting, so now everybody look at their handwriting, and now you know who you are. No? Well, if your husband's here, look at your husband. You for sure know who he is. The reason why you can't tell is that you just weren't trained. Everybody here learn how to read?
Yeah.
And when you read, you get information from what you read. And when you first were taught how to read, it took a while to get it. And then you got it. And some people read 2 languages. Who reads 2 languages here? 3, 4. So it's a learned process. So I went to school for a year, once a week, and I learned how to analyze the movement of your hand on a piece of paper with a pen, what it means. But how can I do that? So, when you think a thought and you want to put it down on a piece of paper, if you're older than 12, 11, 10, if you're younger than that, your little kids are still thinking about how to put it on a piece of paper. Their brain is still involved. So if you no longer have to think about how to spell, that's why I asked you to spell in the language that you write, the language that you're most comfortable in, because I don't want you to think about how to write. So when you no longer have to think about it, you're just doing it. When you think a thought, and now you want to put it on a piece of paper, the hand doesn't become smart. The hand is only a conduit. So when you think a thought, and you now want to put it on a piece of paper, the hand puts down on the piece of paper exactly what you thought. Excuse me. What moves the hand? Anybody?
Brain.
Brain? Anybody else? Muscles? Thanks for sharing. I know it was different. Muscles. So all this side over here they weren't listening. As I said, I'm sorry, earlier. When you're 10, 11, 12, and you're having to think about writing, your brain is controlling your hand. As soon as you know how to write, and you know how to make an ABC and an Aleph, Beis, Gimel, you don't think about it. You have a thought, and you just put the thought down on a piece of paper. When a person passes away, his hand's complete, his eyes are complete, everything's there, but he's not moving. So when a person is not alive anymore, something left. You can call it a life force, you could call it a something, I don't know what it is, or you can call it a soul or a neshama, whatever word you're more comfortable with, but there's an essence inside the person that makes him alive that's no longer there. But when he is alive, it makes him move. And that movement is what you write on a piece of paper. So that movement is really your personality. Or the spiritual ones here would call it your soul, or your life force. In English, we call it a personality. And each person has a unique personality. And there are 3 things I can't tell, though. I can't tell which age you are, because there's a feminine and masculine side of us. And sometimes a male could have a feminine outside, a more feminine outside. Not gay, but just he's more feminine. And a female vice versa. Not common, but it happens. And there's nothing wrong with them. And I can't tell which hand you wrote it with. Because a righty could look like a lefty, and a lefty could look like a righty. But they do different things. A righty's writing here from the left side of the paper, and he's pulling the pen across the page. A lefty is pushing it. A lefty doesn't see what they're writing, or doesn't see the next line. They have a whole spatial and muscle difference than a righty. I can't tell which hand you wrote with. And the third thing I can't tell is your age. Because if you're 16, there's something age appropriate for a 16. But if you're writing, if I see it and it looks like a 16-year-old handwriting and you're 50, I have to read it differently. So I can't tell age. Once I know age, I know what's age appropriate. But I forgot to tell you to put on a piece of paper, if you're a lefty, put a big L. Just so if I see a paper, I can see that it's an L. And men, if you would put your age, women you can lie with in 5 years.
Good at all.
Okay, so now we know how I can do it, but what is it? Let's take a little, who uses me professionally?
Police departments?
I didn't ask anybody else. Okay,
Lawyers.
who uses me?
Lawyers. Police departments.
They used to. I don't do that work anymore. I don't do document work anymore. There's a difference between graphology and document reading. If it's a forgery, mafia, used to do mafia work. I didn't like doing that kind of stuff. Employers. I do a lot of hiring. People want to know, doctors hiring a whole bunch of doctors, new doctors. He doesn't want to make a mistake because it costs money to find out the finder's fees. I just finished a baker who wanted to hire $12 an hour employees, but he works them hard for the whole summer, and he wants them to stay the whole summer, and he wants responsible employees. So I looked through about 20 handwritings for him to get the team that he put together for the summer. psychologists and social workers use me as a second opinion until they get a little spooked by me. They want to know, they just want to hear it from my angle in order to like deal with their client differently or to get a better picture of their client. And why I say someone gets spooked because what I can analyze really quickly because I'm not asking any questions, I'm just looking at a piece of paper. So they sometimes like get a little intimidated. The majority of my work, I do some couple counseling. People come just to find out who they are, but the majority of my work is I deal with teenagers. Teenagers in yeshivas and teenagers at risk. I go into 3 yeshivas as a guidance counselor. I had a load last year of 80 kids, which is really neat. I get a handwriting in October, and you know what? Trust is built by 2 components, by compassion and competence. You may know somebody for a long period of time, but if you don't trust them, if you don't think they're competent, you're not going to trust them. So in the yeshivas, I have a reputation of being kind, gentle, and safe. I hear amazing things in the first 5 minutes because I don't ask them how you feeling, what's going on in the house. I tell them, and then they just open up. So in October, when I meet a lot of the new guys, some girls, it's just a session. By the time May comes around, I'm usually buddies with most of these guys, and we can see the difference, how they grew up. We can compare the handwriting. We can see the successes and where they need to put more energy. Okay. Now, let me see your papers. Okay. All right. Stop. Excellent. Okay. All right. When you were asked to write a sample out, put them down now for a second. When you were asked to put a sample down, you weren't asked where to start. No one told you where to start. If you don't want me to touch your paper, you know, if I come close to you, just hide it, okay? Is this your husband? This is perfect. Lucky man. Now, I'm only kidding. Oh.
It's okay.
I wasn't, whatever. So, you see it looks like a picture and it's framed?
Yes.
Okay? Now, since we all have our own unique personalities, we're all going to do something different. Like, oh, you're similar. They're the same. They get along great. How many years have you been married? 46. And she just whispered to me that they're artists. So she took away some of my thunder, but you can see that it's nicely formed. It looks like a picture. Like, if you go into their house, it may not be spotless, but it's orderly. That, I don't want to tell you how I know that, but it's orderly because they're very visual. Things are important to them the way they look. She laughed. The margins are different here, right? You notice this margin is very small. That's a mistake, right?
No.
Oh. She likes to be close to people. She wants to show that she's close, but sometimes she doesn't like to be that close, but she likes to show that she's really friendly. So it's nothing wrong with that, but this is her personality put on this paper. That's what she decided to do. quite. It wasn't what I thought I was looking for. Anybody start really at the tippy top? Like with no. Maybe really. Yeah, that's close. That's pretty good. You want me to touch it? Thanks. It's almost there. You're a reformed collector. Correct? Like, you like to save stuff. I'm taking that yes as Does anybody know you that can speak for you?
You don't know what you're talking about.
I'll take that as a yes.
She let me say she has stuff home. Yeah?
Both family.
Don't
You heard?
force it.
She said.
What?
Mine, my parents, my grandparents.
What?
She has
You
all the
saved
stuff.
them?
Almost their things. I have a lot of their things, furniture and.
Nice. Now, you're laughing at her, but without people like this, we wouldn't have any history. Because if it was not me, I'd just throw it away. If I ever get audited, I don't have the bills from last week. So you have the bills from how many years ago? You only need 7. 7 years. is all you need. So now you can see though that she goes edge to edge, but she has a little space up here. Why did I say that she was a reformed saver? Because this little edge up here means that she has respect. She respects, she's older now, she's a little bit more mature. She has a little more thought of like, you don't save plane tickets anymore, do you?
Don't be embarrassed, Linda. It's okay. Only if they're in China.
We're making fun a little bit, maybe a lot on your side, but that the space up here is on how you honor people. Has a space up on top. She's not as much as a saver as a person that is very cautious on if she wants to listen to you or not. You have to be really important to be listened to. Correct? Okay, we'll talk later. Because, oh, I think she didn't want to listen to me, that's why. But it's a great, I'm totally like that. I know you're not totally like that, but I'm in front of everybody, so you're just supposed to say yes, okay? Okay. Great, excellent. All right. So, anybody here have kids that are under 20? Okay.
Yeah, no.
You want kids under 20, right here?
Hi, guys.
Have
Oh, so I won't talk about your race. Okay. So, now, you started the paper. No one told you how big to make your letters. Did anybody tell you how big to make your letters?
No.
Who wrote really here, large? If I touched your paper once, make sure I don't touch it a second time, just so I can try to get everybody's paper. Anybody write really, really small? No. Let's see, that was large. Let me see, large. I got large already. Large-ish. Anybody large or small? No, medium. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's all right. I got the same size here. Okay. All right. I did a handwriting this weekend.
Rabbi Kitner's got small.
Who's got some? Yeah, no, but I got something that size already. Anyway, let me see that. Maybe this is a little larger than I got. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Now, I read a woman's handwriting, how old is she? She's 18, 17. 17-year-old girl. From my fingers up, she put 6 lines.
Sure. Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Now, anybody here a 2nd grade teacher? 3rd grade teacher? Okay? Sometimes you'll get little kids who will write that small. And now that kid who's writing that small feels that small. She, on the other hand, her handwriting was perfect. The right formation, like she had an upper zone, a lower zone, everything looked right. It just, she looked really small. So this is small-ish, but not super small. And you can get a lot bigger than this and still write. You want to guess who's involved in details more? Which one? Very good. The small person. How I was trained to read handwriting was to what kind of person would write such a thing. So if you're really into details, if you really want to know something about it, you're going to write small because you want to know the smallness of life. It's not that you don't like to know things, but you like to do things. If I sort of bored you with all the details on how a computer works, it would bore you. Or how a car works, or how like to get from here to there. Just do it. Let's just go and do it already, right?
Facebook, right? They asked you about Facebook, so you have no clue.
I don't know, I don't Facebook.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We're trying.
Oh, exercise. Where? This handwriting is sorted in the middle, and this is a small handwriting, not tiny. Now, here's a general principle, okay? Your strengths are your weaknesses.